Hey YouTube! Welcome to our channel! Hey YouTube, welcome to our channel. So first of all, I thought I would start with a bit of Jessie's story up until now. So Jessie was born on the 22nd of February 2019, which was one of the best days of our lives and probably one of the scariest as well. Jessie was born 9 weeks early by emergency C-section because my blood sugars were unstable. I had gestational diabetes in pregnancy, and they couldn't get it under control. So at 8 a.m. in the morning we were told that Jessie was going to be born by emergency section that day. So Jessie arrived at 7:28 that evening, and James went to the neonatal to see her after taking some pictures for me. She was born with a full head of red hair, just like me and her dad. She needed revived at birth. She wasn't breathing and had an APGAR score of 0. It went up after 5 minutes, and Jessie didn't require any ventilation. She managed with CPAP for the first 3 days and then went on to low flow oxygen for another few. She started taking her milk very well at the start. There was a couple of times she had to be tube fed when she wasn't eating, and her weight was up and down. She was born at 3 pounds and 4 ounces, so she was tiny. Her head was about the size of an orange. She was so small and so doll-like. She did well in neonatal for the most part. She didn't have any major complications. It was mainly trying to get her weight up and trying to get her to eat. She didn't take to breastfeeding at first. She was so small, she didn't have the energy to suck, and she had a bit of a tongue tie. However, I expressed milk for her and she managed to use the neonatal bottles to take it, and when she couldn't do that, she was tube fed. Jessie was in neonatal for 23 days and got out home on the 16th of March, which was actually her granny's birthday. When Jessie came home, health-wise, she thrived. She was putting on weight, she was taking her milk, and our family felt complete. So when Jessie got home, as I said, she was thriving health-wise, but we did start to notice delays in her development and just certain things. Like as a baby, Jessie wouldn't really respond to people talking. She wouldn't look for a voice that came into the room. Her hearing was all checked and her hearing's perfect, but she wouldn't make eye contact even when she was little, and we waited and waited for a smile, but Jessie didn't give us her first proper smile until she was around 9 months. We also didn't get a lot of cooing and just your silly little baby noises that babies do. And as she got older, there was other kind of delays. When we tried to move on to, oh, there's Jessie. When we tried to move on to weaning, when Jessie was 6 months old, she regressed and she wouldn't take purees. We were told to keep trying to persevere by her speech and language therapist. However, it made Jessie go into a feeding aversion, and she refused to take solids, she refused to take purees, and then she started to refuse her milk as well, so she wouldn't take anything. Jessie ended up in the hospital and was put back onto a feeding tube. So we stayed in the hospital, we learned how to feed her through the pump and the tube, and Jessie came home again. So that got Jessie through till she was about a year old. Now, by a year old, we're still seeing significant delays in her development. She still wasn't able to play with toys for 6-month-olds, and she wasn't walking, she wasn't sitting, she wasn't crawling, still kind of no babbling. She didn't crawl until she was around 15 months, and walking was around 19 months. She still wasn't really playing with toys for the younger kids, but she did always love colours and lights. She still is completely infatuated with lights and can spend hours staring at them, doing the same thing over and over again. But it was around then we started to wonder if these were delays in her development from being premature, or if there was something underlying. So we spoke to the health visitor and we spoke to her neonatal consultant at the hospital, who referred us to speech and language therapy and physio to kind of just check for things. So we went through a barrage of tests. She's had MRIs and everything, brain scans, everything seemed to be completely normal. Now it was then that everyone started mentioning to us, had we thought of the possibility of autism? Now we know a bit about autism because, as well as Jessie, we have an 11-year-old son, Andrew, who was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and ADHD. He's not here with me at the moment, but I'm sure we'll meet him in time. So we knew a bit about autism, and we did start to see the red flags and warning signals with Jessie. Now, we had spoke about getting her put onto the waiting list, but at the moment it's a good couple of years, and with the pandemic, everything's a little bit behind. Now, Jessie is still not talking. She's 2.5 now, and she's non-verbal. She doesn't have any kind of level of, appears to have no level of understanding. She still won't respond to her name. If you ask her to do something, she doesn't understand. So we thought we wouldn't really want to give it another couple of years and not have any help in place, because it means she'd be getting to nursery time and she'll be getting to school, and she'll struggle because she doesn't have the understanding. She won't do things herself. She likes to have one of us around constantly, even to go to the bathroom. Jessie comes too. But we thought it would be better to get it in place, that she had the help sorted before we get to nursery and before we get to school. So we decided a couple of months ago that we were going to go private, and we're put on a waiting list for that. Now on the 16th of July, Jessie had her assessment and was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and a development delay. Now we're trying to still figure out what all that means, and this is why that we've started this vlog. We're hoping that we can maybe help other parents in the same situation. We're hoping people will see it and they'll be able to help us, and maybe just get some more kind of recognition and show people what autism spectrum disorder is and what it's like to have a non-verbal child. So thank you for watching the video today. I hope you've learned a little bit about Jessie, and we'll be back with more videos soon.